So everybody might have heard that John Meadows recently passed away, and I wanted to share a really cool story about John Meadows. So I was fortunate enough that I sort of grew up with, T Nation and Elite FTS when they were really, really blowing up in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, right? And I worked a desk job for a while, so I was able to read every single article and just dive into the depths of fitness early on. And I remember seeing this guy, the Mountain Dog, and I would just watch his videos, his death sets on the hack squat and leg press, and his T-bar row variations, and just seeing these crazy bodybuilding movements that he did, and then trying them out and incorporating them into our own training here at Garage Strength, and just really utilizing those movements. So fast forward a couple years, and around 2015, I think 2016, I started to see he had really started to create and dive deeper into his own YouTube channel and start to push on his YouTube channel. So it was pretty neat to see him sort of take his own direction and create and cultivate this phenomenal following and his own culture, right? Of sharing knowledge and sharing information and being positive and just really doing a good job on educating the world around him. And so fast forward further, and it's 2020, it's March of 2020, and COVID has hit. And so about a month into COVID, all the gyms were shut down, and I was still, I was watching consistently Mountain Dog, watching John Meadows stuff, and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do with my business. I don't know what's going to happen. And what was interesting to me is that John owns Granite Supplements, right? And he also owns Mountain Dog. And I happen to own Earth-Fed Muscle and Garage Strength. And I just am an owner of Earth-Fed Muscle, but I wasn't in the daily operations. So I was sort of concerned about where was everything going to go, especially Garage Strength, because Garage Strength is like my baby. It's what I want to really develop, and I want to really do a good job with, because I believe that we can have a huge impact on people from a progressive mindset in training and just in life. And so I had no idea where to go. And I felt like I was at a point in my life where no one believed in me, and no one cared what I had to say. No one thought I was that good of a coach. No one really understood my mindset. And even though we had really successful people on site here, as far as athletes in every sport you could think of, I just felt like I was shouting to no one, right? And just in this really, really bad spot. And so I was like sitting here during COVID, and I just said to myself, you know what, I'm going to email John Meadows. And John Meadows emailed me back. So John Meadows emails me back, and he says, hey, I'll set up a meeting with you. I'll try and help you with where you're going with your business. So this is a guy that I looked up to and just thought the world of him as a content creator, as a bodybuilder, as a person. I'd seen him interact with his wife and his kids on, all through the computer screen. I never met him. And he sits there and he gives me the time that we're going to have our Zoom meeting, and because it's COVID time, everybody's on Zoom, and I can see him starting to get into the room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to sit down and have a conversation with John Meadows. And so he sits down and he lays out, and he's on my website, and he's got all this stuff set up, and he's looking at everything. And he's asking me question after question, just constantly asking me questions, not really talking, just asking questions. And then I'm just, in true me form, talking, because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's listening to me. This is phenomenal. And he sat there for these 2 hours, and he had no time limit. We were just going to go until it was done. It was a very organic conversation, and he answered every single freaking question that I had for him. And he basically says to me, he's like, look, you got your supplement company over here, and you're not really involved with that day-to-day, so that exists over here. And one thing that blew me away is that I'm in his space, right? I'm in the supplement world, and I'm in the fitness world to a point. I'm in the lifting world, and he just didn't care. He did not care at all. But so he sat there and he goes, you know, you got your Instagrams, okay. You got your Twitter, it sucks. You haven't ever really done anything on YouTube. You got like 4,000 subscribers at the time. He's like, look, you've got a personality, you've got your mindset, you've got your gym, you've got everything you could ever hope for. And one thing he said to me is like, I wish I could own a gym, but if I owned a gym, I'd go bankrupt because I'd buy every piece of equipment I could ever want and I'd put it into that gym. So he was basically saying to me like, look, you've got the studio. And he just goes, Instagram's okay, Facebook's okay, Twitter's okay. They're all okay, but they're not great. But what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you can help the world. I want you to think about how you can help solve people's problems. And, you know, just listening, watching him, and he just goes on, he goes, Dane, give me 2 to 3 years. You've got to promise me, give me 2 to 3 years of making content on YouTube. Give me 2 to 3 years. And he had even said to me there was a point where they had uploaded, I want to say it was like 50 videos every single day. He uploaded a video for 50 days. And he was like, you can do something like that, which we ended up making it like 70 videos when we took it, right? But he just kept saying, it's just like lifting weights. It's just like business. You've got to sit here. You got your PPP money from the government, and now you've got to sit here and you've got to do something proactive because you've got to make sure that you're able to continue to help these people and to impact people properly the way that you're doing it now. And I think that what was so cool for that experience is, one, he just was willing to sit into a Zoom meeting with me on a whim. He didn't want anything. He wanted nothing for this. And all he asked for was, give me 2 to 3 years. You've got to promise me you're not gonna stop. And what was crazy is that, you know, I want to say around December, I just emailed them back in December of 2020. Hey, you know, we're at 15,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. We're getting there. We're doing a good job. He's like, that's phenomenal. Keep doing it. Keep pushing. You're doing a good job. And then by March 19th, actually my birthday, I emailed, hey, John, I think we were at like 65,000. John, we're at 65,000. Just one day I want to do a collaboration with you. And he said, you know, by the end of this year, we'll do a collaboration, but it's going to take some time. Your thumbnails are cool, but you're doing a good job. You're continuing to do a good job. And then July 25th, I emailed him of 2021, and I just said, hey, we crossed 100,000, and kudos to you for pushing me to get to this point. We got over 100,000 subscribers, and his response was just, Dane, you put in the hard work, you killed it, you listened, and you got to keep going. You can't stop. Just keep working as hard as you possibly can. And I think that what's important to everybody is that Mark Bell said this, legends never die. They live on within other people. And I think that it's really, really, really important to recognize that. But what creates a legend is somebody who's willing, who's empathetic to other people's situations, who's not judgmental, who's sitting there and they understand where each and every individual has been, and they're able to sit there and recognize, like, look, I will help this person. I will progressively impact that person, knowing that it's going to go forward. It's going to go to somebody else. And I think that's exactly what Mark Bell was even talking about, is that legends won't die. Someone like John Meadows he's passed away. He's left this earth. And sadly, his wife and his kids have to mourn his loss, and they have to figure out how they can handle this emotionally. And it's going to be a really trying, tragic time for them. But the rest of the world, what we have to do is what Meadows did for us, is that we have to sit here and we have to try to be as positive as we can to everybody that we encounter throughout every single day of our life. And we've got to provide support for his wife and for his kids. And we've got to continue to take what he did on YouTube. We have to continue to take what he did in the world of lifting, of bodybuilding, of training, and push the envelope, push, you know, the theories that he had and the methodology that he had and his approach. And his approach was so true and real and positive. And that's what we have to do to continue to grow his legend, the legend of John Meadows. And that's exactly what I'll do as we work forward. So John, rest in peace. You saved garage strength.